Bullets begin flying, shell casings hit the ground, armored soldiers and drug members fight it out in the streets, killing each other and surrounding civilians that are innocently just watching as they are caught in the crossfire. Now, you may wonder, where is this happening? You might think maybe Afghanistan, Iraq, a war torn country somewhere far, far away from anywhere that we are, when in reality, it's a lot closer than you would think. It's actually happening in Mexico currently. This is happening with the Mexican drug cartels and the war that is happening between the warring Mexican drug cartels and the federales and the government of Mexico that is trying to combat this problem. Now, as you may know, living in San Diego, we are very lucky to share a border with Mexico. Mexico is a very amazing country with a rich culture, a very interesting history that dates back to the Aztecs before we were even in this country. And they have a very colorful people. They have very nice culture with amazing food, amazing traditions, and very nice people. It's always been a place where a lot of Americans go to just relax and enjoy the tropical nature of Mexico and further down in Baja California. And even in the border states like Tijuana or Tecate, you can just go right across the border and be in a tropical paradise in a little town in a little city that you would not find anywhere in California or America. But the thing that has become bad about this is that the drug dealers and the drug cartels have kind of taken over Mexico and now have it in their control rather than the control of the people and the government. And now it's almost dangerous to go down there because you have to worry about the drug cartels and the violence that's happening down there. And they've just kind of turned this beautiful place into a dangerous, ugly environment. Now, you might think that this doesn't really concern us, but the truth is it does, because it's happening right over our borders and it's coming over onto our soil. You might not know about it, but in Arizona and Texas and in San Diego, there have been killings and there have been torturings and there have been shootouts that are related to drugs, and even some of the gangs that are operating in San Diego are connected to the Mexican drug cartels and are being supplied by the Mexican drug cartels and are doing business with them. And they take out killings and business that the Mexican drug cartels tell them to. And the other reason that it concerns us is because we are the ones fueling it. Us as Americans and us as a country, we are fueling it because we are the ones consuming the drugs, we are the ones buying the drugs, and without us buying them, they would have no reason to supply them. So by us buying this cocaine, this marijuana, this heroin, whatever they're selling, the more we keep buying it, it's the more incentive for them to sell it. And all these different drug cartels, they're trying to get the most money, so they're fighting over territory and money, so they're clashing with each other. How I know about this is that I researched the topic a lot, and I've also been to Tijuana many times, and I went to Tijuana when I was a very young child, and I could remember it being a pretty nice place. I mean, it was a little more run down than San Diego or California, but it was still a nice place where you could hang out and go to bars and have a fun time. And even as a little kid with your parents, you could just run around, look at all the street vendors and the things they had to offer there. But now I would go down there during high school, and my high school would take trips down there, and recently they stopped doing that because it just got too dangerous. And even at my school, I had a lot of people that I knew that lived in Tijuana but also shared living arrangements in San Diego, and they just moved out of their place in Tijuana because it just became too dangerous. And also, I knew a few kids that were actually killed in Tijuana because even though they had nothing to do with the drug cartels, they just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they were mistaken for somebody else, and they were killed because of just they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, the reason this is so important is because Mexico's just being torn apart by this drug war. They have the cartels fighting each other, And not only is it just the cartels fighting, it's the federales and the government fighting the cartels. So you have all these different forces that are coming together to fight one another. And it just turns into this vacuum of violence that's just sucking in the whole country. And now this whole country is just involved in this violence and this bloodshed. And Mexico is being turned into a war zone because of this. And the other thing is the government, they don't have that much control over this anymore. You know, the drug cartels either bribe the government or threaten the government. So they'll either give them money, or they'll just say, hey, listen, if you do something about this and you try to get us in trouble for what we're doing, you know, we're going to kill you, we're going to come after your family, we're going to get you no matter what. Or you can just take some money. And of course, what's better, being killed or taking money? So a lot of these government officials are taking the money and just letting the drug cartels kind of do whatever they want and just kind of, you know, let it fly under the radar so they don't see it. The other thing is the drug cartels and high-ranking members of the drug cartels have actually infiltrated the government or are part of the government. So they're actually in there, so they can do almost whatever they want because they're in the actual government and the police militia. And another thing is that it's a human rights issue. You know, people are being killed, they're being tortured. You know, families are being killed and tortured, families of drug dealers, families of police officers and government officials. They're being killed because of what the drug dealers have done, you know, and they're just going after innocent people that really have nothing to do with it and might not even know about it. They might just be mistaken for someone else and get killed because of who someone thought they were. Now, the reason all this is happening in Mexico is because Mexico is the main exporter of drugs, because not only is it one of the highest yielding producers of drugs because of where it is geographically, as I said before, it's a very tropical area, so they have the environment to be able to produce a lot of drugs, as in cocaine, marijuana, heroin. They have the ability to produce the plants that are needed to make those drugs. The other thing is that they are right above South America, so all the drugs that are coming from South America have to go through Mexico before they can get to America. And they make a lot of money off of it. Annually, they make about $45 billion off of the drug market, of what they're getting from South America, what they're producing themselves, and then what they're selling to America and the other countries worldwide. And two of the main drug cartels are the Felix and Sinilano drug cartels. They're the two main ones that are fighting, but there are also little tinier ones that are all around Mexico that are fighting. But for the most part, those are the two main ones. And the death toll has almost been relatively close to a minor war, you'd say. There have been about 30,000 roughly killed since it started in 2006. That's when the violence began to get very heavy. Now, 30,000 people are way too many people to have been killed in a drug war that's happening right across our borders. And that is why it's something that we need to know about. It's a human rights issue. It's a war that we're just not seeing and we're not hearing about in the news, but we need to know about. And hopefully this speech has filled you in on something that you might before have not known about or didn't know as much as you thought you did know about it. Thank you for listening.